What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another alternate universe What If. And this will be part 2 of What If Naruto had the Galaxy Gauntlets. Now, I'm just going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to, continue with new stuff. So, where we last pretty much left off, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura pretty much passed the fucking, pretty much the test, the belt test, and pretty much did a couple missions. And until Sasuke got sick of the missions and asked for a higher one, which Ruzin gladly agreed because he wants all ninja students to get strong for the next attack, just in case if they have to have a war again. Sorry about that. Off of the B mission, and it's the Toggle mission, you could say. Now, since we did a quick recap, let's go with the new stuff. Now, Tazna is pretty much looking at, all three of them. He especially looks at Naruto, and Naruto looks different. He's different in a way of, because of his look. He has black crosshair wings, white and black eyes, white and black hair in the middle. You could say split evenly, and he just looks weird in a certain way. And he's tall, but they're all like teenagers, but you could say tall. So. Now, Daza looks at the rest of them and says, Now, this is where they're all about to get ready to go until Danzo comes in. Now, Danzo comes in and the Amu asks for Sakura to come. Which, Kakashi is confused on why the Amu wants Sakura, but, since he can't do anything, since the thing, and everybody's all messed up, he says, alright. Now, Sakura gets taken and gets introduced to Danzo. Now, Danzo is looking at Sakura and saying, I heard what happened to you, and I'm sorry that happened to you. But do you want to get strong so that won't happen again? And he's pretty much, smiling from the inside. Which Sakura begins to cry and says she wants to be strong. She doesn't want to feel that again. Which Danzo says, alright then, let's get started. Now, this is where, the album says Sakura is going to be with them so they can, is it okay for them to do the mission about the cells, which Sasuke says whatever, and, Naruto says okay. A little bit concerned, but he says okay. Now, they get going, and we switch back to Danzo. Now, Danzo pretty much, you could say pretty much hold Sakura down, and they pretty much inject her in the neck you could say with some certainty, and Sakura begins to pass out. Now, this is where, you could say the demon comes in. The guy demon comes in. The general demon. And he begins to say, you did good, Danzo. Now, it's time for demon part. And he begins to, you could say, carry her and take her to the lab. Now, if Sakura's going to get raped or anything, get sexually abused while she's sleeping, no. The general demon is basically going to, you could say, give her some kind of a boost, you could say. Now, we switch back to Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke is saying, what do you think that was about? Which Naruto says, I don't know, but we find out soon enough. Now, this is where Naruto realizes there's a puddle, and he says, this is not right. And he begins to use his Galaxy Gauntlets and switch the motion. Switch the power. It's also his, you could say, personality. And he switched to ice. Which ice appears and says, what puddle? I wonder. It frees the ice puddle. Now, Demon Brothers is trapped in the ice thing, and they're frozen in there. So they can't get out. It's pretty much frozen. And Ice pretty much saying, I guess we can continue going now. Now, Sasuke begins to say Naruto, which Kakashi is confused like, who's this person? Which Ice says, oh, yeah, okay, so, yeah, I'm not Naruto, whoever that guy is, but I'm Ice. Which Ice begins to walk with him and says, but all I, but I think I know what's going on. And he begins to explain the Galaxy Goblins and that the host has other souls with him and he can switch to their abilities, powers, but he would be blacked out. But if he has a strong willpower or remembers, then he switched out, then they can just switch for reality. And they have like multiple souls, but there's one soul that's combined all together and makes a new being, which Ice doesn't know the name too. Now, Ice begins to, she's back to Naruto. Naruto pretty much says, hey guys, which Kakashi is saying, Ice told us everything, which Naruto says, so you know. And they continue walking and talking and stuff. Until, Frog comes in and this is where the knife, Shining Sword begins to swing, which Kakashi does ever break it down until, Naruto switch, the powers get into purple and it's madness. And madness begins to scream and says, ah, and pretty much, smacks the sword away to him. Flicks the sword back away. Now this is where Zabuza grabs the sword and says, that's a strong punch you did there. And, Madness begins to look up and says, Madness is covering up his face saying, you dared mess with me? I don't even care, just move out my way, bitch. This is where Zabuza says, talking like you got balls, and begins to leap at, Naruto. Now, Naruto begins to dodge his attacks as he's holding his face. Now, this is where Zabuza swings his sword and says, grabs his arm and pretty much opens half of his face, and he sees purple eyes. Like purple, like you could say wild eyes, and Zabuza says, what the? And Naruto not Naruto, but Madness kicks him in the gut and pretty much hits him in, you could say, dark energy. Hitting him in the chest, sending him flying, and scarring his, you could say, front chest. And this is where Zabuza hit the tree and begins to cough up blood and try to get back up and try to stand, but he's keep falling down. Because that dark energy also brings life force, so as, the madness under his face, he's pretty much laughing in, like, you could say ridiculous laughter, saying, I told you not to touch him. I told you. And this is where Zabuza's trying to get up, but he just, hits the ground. And this is where Hawk comes in and saves the day. You could say get Zabuza out there before anything happens. Now, Naruto switch back to himself. And he's pretty much looking up saying, this might take used to get used to. Now, this is where this is where they all head to Thousand House. Heads to Thousand House, and they're all there, and they meet Thousand daughter, I forgot. But Naruto meets her, and he begins to look at her and says, my name is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Now, this is where she is blushing, saying my name, and she says it. Now, you could say go out and hang out with each other and stuff. Because Naruto already knows the tree walking water and knows the water walking stuff, so Sasuke's doing it by himself with Kakashi. Now, this is where Sasuke pretty much, finally gets it and begins to, go trade by himself. This is where Ares appears again, the god of war. He appears and says, so are you ready to talk to me, Sasuke? Which this is where Sasuke says, yeah, what do you have to offer? Which this is where Ares says, oh, so you talking big now, I see. Okay, now this is where Ares offered him, the Chaos Blades. But for a cost, he will be his, serve his full loyalty to him. which this is where Sasuke agrees on. Now, this is where the Chaos Blades get wrapped around him, and the chains in bind, and Sasuke is screaming aloud, which, Kakashi hears and begins to, start going to hear that noise. Start going to hear that noise. Now, Ares begins to smile and says, "Have fun, enjoy this power you gain." And Sasuke holds the grip with the Chaos Blades. You could say Kurido's Chaos Blades. And begins to test them out and see what he can do with them and the chains and all that. Now, Sasuke realized that he has these Chaos Blades and have, marks on his arms. He realized that, he just basically made a deal with a god. Now, we switch back to Naruto. Naruto pretty much, heading back. And he sees Sasuke pretty much looking at him. And Sasuke asks him for a fight, which Naruto agrees upon and says, okay. This is where Naruto and Sasuke have a fight. And Sasuke says to go all out, which Naruto says okay. Now they're going all out and stuff, and Sasuke is swinging the Chaos Blades while using the Sharingan, the 3-times Sharingan, because he has that, and he's swinging the blades and stuff and grabbing Naruto when he flies up and swinging him down to the ground. Now, Naruto gets back up and he says okay. It begins to activate the gauntlets. Now he switch up to Star, to the yellow one, and this is electricity. He begins to go faster than you could say, by the CNI, and punch Sasuke multiple times. Like that. Now Sasuke, he's getting hit, but he's getting back up, and he keeps saying, "All right, that's enough." He kicks Naruto in the face, sending him flying. But this is where Naruto says, "All right." And this is where Naruto activates an ultimate move called Heaven Wrath. Now, this is where he lifts up the spikes up from the ground, and these are holy spikes, lifted up and pierce Sasuke, holding him still, and he pretty much put his finger down, pretty much shooting down a holy light beam, pretty much hitting him down. Now, Sasuke's knocked out, but not dead, just knocked out. And Naruto pretty much, heals him and let him rest. Now, this is where the bridge happens. Now, as the bridge is happening, this is where Sasuke, this is where Kakashi says, "I got Tazumi. Y'all pretty much go handle. Sasuke, you stay behind and watch over Tazumi going off. Naruto, go handle Haku." Now, this is where they all said yes, and Naruto begins to go to Haku. Now, Haku begins to form the ice mirrors, and Naruto looks around saying, this is neat, this is unique, which Haku begins to shoot symbol leaders, which it's not touching Naruto. Like, he has kind of like a force apprenticeship. Well, since he's like a powerful a Nephilim angel, kind of combined with Black Angel and White Angel, nothing really can hurt him unless it's like an angel. Unless it's kind of like an angel blade, like an angel blade or a demon blade. Which, other than that, if it's not anything that's like that, then you're not going to hurt Naruto or you kill him in that manner. So, yeah, let's continue. Pretty much, Haku begins to shoot symbol needles at Naruto, and it's not really hurting him or phasing him. He's just looking the same. Is this all you got? No, this is where. And this is a female Haku, begins to shoot, charge at Naruto with the symbol needles ready to throw and trying to go back in the mirror. This is where Naruto grabs Haku's face and slams it down to the ground. And her mask splits. This is where Naruto realized that this is the world saying, so you're a girl. That's crazy. Which, this is where she gets back up and kicks Naruto in the face, and she begins to, barrage him with 1,000 symbol needles, which it's not working. Naruto's just pretty much just yawning, saying, "Alright, that's enough now." And he shatters all the mirrors. Now Haku is confused, saying, "But how did he?" And Naruto grabs her face and pretty much slams her down again on the ground. It punches her in the face, pretty much, punch her in the stomach. Well, in the stomach, pretty much knock her out. Now, as Naruto's looking, he sees Kakashi about to finish Zabuza off until Haku comes in and takes the full force. Now, she pretty much lays down, pretty much down to the ground, which Naruto does the whole speech and stuff, and Zabuza begins to cry and all that. And Naruto heals Zabuza, saying, "Do it, avenge her," which, Zabuza begins to, kill other guys. And he doesn't die, he pretty much looks up and begins to cry, saying, "Thank you, Naruto," and begins to, go off. Now, this is where, Kakashi saying, "Well, this mission was a success, and the bridge will be named out of the Great Naruto Bridge." Now, this is where, everybody's about to go, and this is where the Archangels comes in, and Naruto called him and tells him to take the body in, make sure to heal it back. I'll be coming back. Which, how they're doing this? Naruto pretty much, like, you could say stop time. He has the power to stop time and go in the past and future. But he pretty much, stops time and, gets the agents to take the body, which Kakashi realized that the body's gone. Now, as they're all heading back, we switch back to Sakura. Now, this is where Sakura is getting branded. You could say getting branded with you could say an opposite cross. And she's getting, drugged a lot with Harashima DNA, Hyuga Uchiha DNA, and it's like kind of mixing it, and also like demon DNA, because he wants his bride to be like that of his own, or even more, you could say, because he's crazy. Now, as the General Demon is talking to Danzo's saying, "So I'm going to have the demon blood for this," which the General Demon says, "Yes, of course, I'll give you my blood, but you have my blood too," which Danzo's saying, "So why did you pick this useless haired girl?" Which the General Demon is saying, pretty much grabs him in the throat, saying, "Don't ever say nothing about my bride like that again, and I will snap your neck and destroy your village by no mercy." Which Danzo was sweating, saying, "Sorry." Now, this is where you could say Sakura's, dreaming, and she sees the whole village getting attacked again, and as she's like dreaming, she keeps dreaming the same dream of her getting molested and all that stuff. She can't, getting raped and stuff, and she can't do nothing about it. And this is where she hears a voice, and it's the General Demon saying, "Awaken your power, and this can stop. This unleash it." Now, this is where she begins to scream, and her skin changes, and it begins to turn to red, and her hair gets longer, and she grows horns. And this is where the cross-braided begins to, grow a little bit more. And her eyes opens up, and it shows as, you could say, a Hyuga / Sharingan eye. A Hyuga Sharingan, you could say. But this is where, this is where it brands, and she activates, this is where she, lets out a scream and push all the demons and breaks the glass, 2 glass, and she begins to fall down. Now, she gets up, and her hair is longer. Like I said, she has the horns, and, her skin is red. She has the Sharingan, the Akina. Goodbye. So think of the Hyuga eyes, but like the Sharingan is with it at the same time, so it's merged together. And she pretty much is getting up saying, now she looks at Danzo, and she pretty much, like, you could say, flash step or blitz in front of him and chokes him and says, "What did you do to me? What did you do to me?" Which you could say, as Danzo looking down and looking at her, he pretty much saying that he made her strong as she wanted to be. She asked for this. Which she looks at her body. She realized that she has a big ass and big titties, but also she realized that she is much stronger and she doesn't have to be weak. And she starts smiling and laughing. A little bit crazy. So this is the power. And she begins to say, okay. And she cuts. Well, you could say she pretty much punched Danzo in the face, saying that she's gonna be one. And she gets, you could say she finds somewhere to instead head home. Now, this is where Naruto and Sasuke Kashi is taken back. Naruto says he's going to he's going to have to head back to his house and be back. Which Kakashi and Sasuke says, yeah. Okay, now, Naruto heads back and begins to see Haku. See Haku. Now, she's pretty much, you could say, dead. But we're going to say Haku is in hell. And she's not in heaven, she's not in emotional, she's in hell. Pretty much seeing the torture and stuff and all this. Now, this is where Naruto brings her back. We're pretty much saying, are you alright? Now, this is where she looks and she sees a scar in the middle of her chest. And she says, did you bring me back? Which Naruto says, yeah, I brought you back because I want to recruit you for the like angels. And she says, why me at all people? Which Naruto, laughs and says, because you're the strongest I ever saw before. And you're powerful. So will you help me? Which, how cool. Well, luckily you agreed and asked if his officer okay, did he make it? Which Naruto says, yeah, I make sure he escaped. And she smiles and says, okay. Now, as that is going on, Naruto pretty much heads out and talks to Kakashi and Sasuke's with which Kakashi is pretty much explaining about the interest exam. This is where Sakura comes in and says, you said interest exam? No, this is where, like I said, she's different. She has red skin now. She has black nails on her feet, on her toes and her nails. And she's pretty much, her hair is longer and stuff, and she has homeless skin. So, interest exam we're going to do, which Kakashi is realizing, like, asking Sakura, is that you? Which Sasuke is shocked too. So, is that you, Sakura? Including Naruto. He's saying, I sense this presence. Is that demon blood in her? And Naruto asks what happened. She's pretty much saying, oh, I just went through some changes, some transformation. Danzo helped me. You could thank him for that. And this is where, Sakura doesn't have the Sharingan activated, and you could say the Byakugan and Sharingan activated, but her eyes is that of a Hyuga, you could say, and they're asking like, they're basically asking like, how does this happen and stuff, and, she says, yeah, ask too much question, let's just keep listening to about the interest which, they say, alright. But Naruto is not letting it go. He's going to investigate what happened. Now, pretty much, Kakashi is explaining what they have to do and stuff, and they can get to Chuunin level, which they all agree upon all sight. Now, this is where they start heading in. They pass the first one with the illusion with ease because they can all tell it's illusion, but it's awesome. Now, they head upstairs. this is where all the students are, you could say, looking at Sakura. Sasuke, because of his chains on his arm, and including looking at Naruto, saying they look like they went through changes. Now this is where Buckley still challenge Sasuke to a fight, and Naruto this time for Sakura alone, which Sakura begins to blush. She says, "You're fighting for my love," which Rock Lee begins to says, "Yes, because you're the only one I see with my eyes," and begins to, throw a kiss at her. Throws like a big hard kiss at her, which Sakura catches this and pretty much, you know the heart scene, but she pretty much catches the heart, pretty much blushes and pretty much bites off half of it, saying, "Your love is tasty," and pretty much throws it by the side, which Rock Lee is blushing, saying, and you could say he's getting a little bit hard, because Sakura's doing a little bit of lustfulness, because she doesn't like, she doesn't like Sasuke. Like, she still has a thing for Sasuke, but she's a lustful type, since with the blood of the demon in her, so yeah, of the German demon. So now this is where Sakura says, well, Rock Lee, if you win, if you beat both of them, Sasuke and Naruto, I will go out on a date with you, and maybe a little bit more. Pretty much a wink, giving Rock Lee a wink, which Rock Lee begins to blushing hard, and feels determined with the fire. He has fire in his eyes. Said, "All right, I'm ready. I will go out on a date with you." If he gets to, get his fight sticks. Now, Sasuke saying, "Good luck with that, try to beat us." Which Naruto says, "Let's see you try." Now, Rock Lee immediately activate his fourth gate, his fifth gate, and immediately just started trashing him. You could say he got trigger happy. He begins to, barrage, Sasuke with hits and stuff. But since, like I said, Sasuke got the power, kind of like Kratos from God of War, he begins to get back up and use his Chaos Blades and swing around. And Rock Lee is pretty much dodging attacks and stuff, and pretty much, uppercut and beret, and kicking Sasuke down to the ground. Which Sasuke gets hit and pretty much to get back up, saying, now this is where Naruto says, "Alright, Sasuke, you look like you're getting a little bit too cocky. Kind of rethink your childhood. I got this." And Sasuke says, "Hey," and Rock Lee begins to say, "Oh, so you want a piece too?" And begins to charge at Naruto. This is where Naruto says, "Good luck with that." And this is when Rock Lee is trying to throw a punch. Naruto pretty much dodged the punch and grabs his arm, pretty much slings him in the wall, pretty much elbowing him in the back of the head and knocking him out. Which guy comes in and about to be honest. Naruto says, "No, your student is a very strong worthy opponent. I might want to talk to him later." Which Naruto heals up Rock Lee, and Rock Lee says, "Maybe we have this match again sometime," which Naruto bows and says too, so maybe we have a match again too. Which Sasuke or Rock Lee does the same thing too. It says, yeah. Now, for the cheating test, they pretty much all pass because they're all smart. And Sakura, she got all the boys on her, you could say, since her transformation and lustfulness and all that. So, yeah, the boys pretty much, sacrifice their, things to fail to help her cheat. Now, this is where we're going to the Forest of Death. Now, this is where the teacher explained everything. Naruto's pretty much saying, "This is gonna be easy." And they pretty much, when she says, "Are you ready to go?" Naruto pretty much frees time, takes the scrolls already, and puts it. Now, as they all hit him first, this is where Naruto grabs both of them and says, "Alright, we're just gonna fly." And begins to fly over trees and everything, and lands at the beginning with two of the scrolls. Which they come in first, pretty much, beating like the old team record and stuff. Now, since they're already there early, and Orochimaru didn't have a chance to attack them, Sasuke won't get the curse mark of this. But they will still try to come after him. And then, now, as they're all pretty much sitting there waiting for everybody else to come in, everybody else comes in and they start doing their, battles and stuff. Now, everything else goes as the same. Naruto gets a little bit pissed off at the fight with the Rock Lee because Rock Lee didn't need to get, destroyed by guard like that. So, Naruto pretty much, comes pretty much flying down with his wings, touching Rock Lee pretty much in him saying, "Are you alright?" Which he says, "Yes, Naruto, thank you." Which Naruto says, "No problem. Anyways, I do have to talk to you later." Which Rock Lee says, "Yeah." Now, the whole fight with Hinata and Neji happens. Neji actually, when the whole fight is starting, and when Neji is going for the kill his sister, he does it. He kills his sister. Now, this is where Naruto, begins to let out a scream, and he begins to charge down, choking Neji, pretty much slamming him to the ground. Like, you could say, like, grabbing his leg and slamming him back and forth into the same pit, like on the ground, like over and over again, creating craters. And this is where he slams him in the wall, saying, "Why did you kill her?" Because he's very emotional about this. Now, this is where Neji is looking at Naruto and begins to smile, saying, "What do you care about her, Which Naruto's about to do the finish blow till the instructors comes in and stop Naruto, which Naruto is, sharing tears, saying, "You idiot." She was just where he begins to, stop time and begins to heal Hinata, pretty much giving her like something to turn her into a black angel. And she begins to wake back up, saying, "Naruto, is that you?" Which Naruto was crying, so maybe it's me. Now, she pretty much says what happened, which Naruto pretty much saying, "You lost the fight, but it's okay." Now, this is where he's carrying her and begins to fly back to the sea and pretty much is holding her. Which she's saying, "You don't have to hold me like that," which she's blushing. And Naruto's saying, "Oh no, I gotta keep doing you like this." Which she begins to look down and blush. Now, Neji is pretty much down to the pulp, pretty much, coughing and get taken to the infirmary immediately. Ever since that fight. Now, ever since Naruto just, whooped his ass. Now, this is where, as Neji's getting taken to the infirmary, and everybody's having their 2 weeks of, get their, I think, practice, if I'm correct. So, Neji is pretty much in the hospital, and Naruto appears. Pretty much sitting beside him saying, "Neji, you know why I'm here, right? To finish what I started." Which Neji is, pissing his pants in the bed, and can't say anything because everything's broken. Naruto heals him and says, "You know what? You're lucky you're his brother, because I would have killed you and executed you. But you know what? I'm gonna let her finish you off one day and beat the shit out of you." And begins to heal Neji completely and disappears. And all you can see is Angel Wings. Now, Naruto is pretty much asking for Hiruzen, pretty much talking to Hiruzen and seeing is there any master mission he can do, which Hiruzen says, "Yeah, there's like a couple of S missions. You think you're up for it?" Which Naruto says, "Yeah, to get more training experience." Which Sasuke is training Kakashi, so Naruto is doing a couple of S missions. So the whole Jiraiya meeting thing is totally different. Now, this is where Naruto is doing a couple of S missions, and, doing the most SS rank missions and stuff, and completing them with ease and stuff, and assassinating and all that stuff. And he gets help from his black media for food and stuff, and with the target that, so he's getting training experience like that. Now, this is where he do one of the missions, and he starts to head off. he starts to get going and stuff. And Jiraiya comes in and pretty much asks where's his godson Naruto, which proves and says, oh, Naruto went on the SS mission. Going doing all the SS missions to help us get fundraising money so we can, make the village strong again and get our territory and stuff. Which Jiraiya is pretty much got information that two of the Akatsuki members is after him. So he's saying, what? You fooled that. You should. I was trying to tell you not to let him go anywhere, so I could be with him. Which Uzen pretty much is looking down saying, listen, Jiraiya, you don't know your grandson. He's much different. Now this is where we switch to Naruto pretty much completing the mission and we're gonna say got the a scroll and begins to about to take it back. Begins to got the money and begins to head back to the beach. Now this is where you could say Kitsumi and Itachi shows herself in front of Naruto. Now Naruto is saying, what do y'all want? Which this is where they're both smiling and saying, huh, look at him, has no fear. Now Itachi is looking at him with the Sharingan, with the 3-time one. He's pretty much saying, Naruto is enough, you're coming with us. Which Naruto begins to smile and says, try me. And this is where Kisame pulls out his sword, his sharp blade, and says, alright then this is going to be a challenge. Now this is part, I think, 2 of What If Naruto had the Galaxy Gauntlets. If you like some more, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'm Kisho Chia, thanks for watching, and peace out.
Looks like you lost another one.